Hare Ram, Hare Krishna. Good morning, dear devotees. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Welcome to our morning Srimad Bhagavatam class. Today we're reading from Canto 7, Chapter 15, verses 26 through 29. We'll focus on text 27, getting to the end of Canto 7. Amazing, huh? It's been 2.5 years. I've been doing Srimad Bhagavatam class in this order. I'm about to get into the 8th chapter. Amazing. Instructions for civilized human beings. Uh-oh, right? You know, growing up in the West, you get around a culture as deep as Hindu culture or Vedic culture, you know? I mean, just a culture that's really deep. And you feel like sometimes you're just a polished monkey, right? Eating with your left hand or this or that. And so here we go. We can learn how to be civilized human beings by the instructions of Narada Muni. It's very nice. Very true, right? Especially when we get into the, by the way, those on the internet, Tulsi Saki Prabhu said, we all feel like that. I was thinking that's so true, right? When we get to in the company of great people like Srila Prabhupada and our gurus, or just the people of International Society for Krishna Consciousness and our Guru Parampara, it's very easy to feel so small, right? So amazing. Let's sing Jai Radha Madhava. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari. Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana. Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana. Yamuna Tiravanachari. Yamuna Tiravanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Gopi Chanapallabha Girivaradari Gopi Jaya Gopi Chanapallabha Girivaradari Gopi Yashodhanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yashodhanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tiravanachari Yamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Jaya Radha Kalashanji Shri Radhe Jaya Radha Govinda Shri Radhe Jaya Radha Shamasundar Shri Radhe Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Shri Radhamadava ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. The invocation verses together, please, both Sanskrit and English. Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim sarasvatim vyasam tato jayamudirayat. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances unto the personality of Godhead, Narayana, unto Narayana Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Sarasvati, the goddess of learning, and to Sri Vyasadeva, the author. Nashtapreya Shabreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Utamashloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki. By regular attendance on the Srimad Bhagavatam and by rendering of service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving service unto the personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. Om Gyan Temarandasya Gananjana Shalakaya Chakshuranmritam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. I was born in the darkness of ignorance, and my spiritual master so kindly opened my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisances unto him. Hare Krishna. Okay, we'll start with 15 today. We're very fortunate because we get to talk about the spiritual master. We'll focus on 26, and we'll go from 26, 27, 28. Do we have a microphone? Oops. The spiritual master should be considered to be directly the Supreme Lord because he gives transcendental knowledge for enlightenment. Consequently, for one who maintains the material conception that the spiritual master is an ordinary human being, everything is frustrated. His enlightenment and his Vedic studies and knowledge are like the bathing of an elephant. 27, please.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna, is the master of all other living entities and of the material nature. His lotus feet are sought and worshipped by great saintly persons like Vyasa. Nonetheless, there are fools who consider Lord Krishna an ordinary human being. Ritualistic ceremonies, regulative principles, austerities, and the practice of yoga are all meant to control the senses and mind, but even after one is able to control the senses and mind, if he does not come to the point of meditation upon the Supreme Lord, all such activities are simply labor in frustration.
Very nice.
As professional activities or business profits cannot help one in spiritual advancement, but are a source of material entanglement, the Vedic ritualistic ceremonies cannot help anyone who is not a devotee of the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Okay. We'll go to 26. I think I said 26 is our focus verse. It's actually supposed to be 27, but these both are really, really appropriate. So we'll do them both. Yasya Sakshad Bhagavati. Yasya Sakshad Bhagavati. Jnanandipa Pradegoro. Jnanandipa Pradegoro. Martyasya dihi shrutam tasya. Martyasdihi shrutam tasya. Sarvam kunjara shochavat. There we go. Sarvam kunjara shavat. Yasya sakshad bhagavati. Jnanandipa prade goro. Martyasya dihi srutam tasya. Sarvam kunjara shavat. Bolo. Yasya sakshad bhagavati. Jnanadipe prade goro. Martya dihi srutam tasya. Sarvam kunjara chavat. Yasya saksa bhagavati. Ganadipa prade goro. Martya dihi srutam tasya. Sarvam kunjara chavat. Yasya sakshat bhagavati. Jnanandipe. Marchadihi srutam tasya. Sarvam kunjara chavat. Let's go right into the translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The spiritual master should be considered to be directly the Supreme Lord because he gives transcendental knowledge for enlightenment. Consequently, for one who maintains the material conception that the spiritual master is an ordinary human being, everything is frustrated. His enlightenment and his Vedic studies and knowledge are like the bathing of an elephant. Purport: it is recommended that one honor the spiritual master as being the spiritual master as being on an equal status with the Supreme Personality of God. Sakshat Duritvena Samasta Sastre. This is enjoined in Vedic every scripture. Archam mam vijaniyat. One should consider the Acharya to be as good as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In spite of all of these instructions, if one considers the spiritual master an ordinary human being, one is doomed. His study of the Vedas and his austerities and penances for enlightenment are all useless, like the bathing of an elephant. An elephant bathes in the lake quite thoroughly, but as soon as it comes to the shore, it takes some dust from the ground and strews it over its body, lest there is no meaning to the elephant's bath. One may argue by saying that since the spiritual master's relatives and the men of his neighborhood consider him to be an ordinary human being, what is the fault on the part of the disciple who considers the spiritual master an ordinary human being? This will be answered in the next verse, but the injunction is that the spiritual master should never be considered an ordinary man. One should strictly adhere to the instructions of the spiritual master, for if he is pleased, certainly the Supreme Personality Godhead is pleased. Yasha prasada, bhagavat prasado, yasa prasada, nagi gatopi, gati gatopi. Let's go right to 27. Translation and purport. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna, is the master of all living entities and of material nature. His lotus feet are sought and worshipped by great saintly persons like Vyas. Nonetheless, there are fools who consider Lord Krishna an ordinary human being. The example of Lord Krishna as being the Supreme Personality of Godhead is appropriate in regard to understanding the spiritual master. The spiritual master is called Sevaka Bhagavan, the servitor personality of Godhead. And Krishna is called Seva Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead who is to be worshipped. The spiritual master is a worshipper God, whereas the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, is the worshipable God. There's a difference between the spiritual master and the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Another point, Bhagavad Gita, which constitutes the instructions of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is presented by the spiritual master as it is, without deviation. Therefore, the absolute truth is present in the spiritual master, as clearly stated in text 26, Jnanandipa Prade. The Supreme Personality of Godhead gives real knowledge to the entire world, and the spiritual master as a representative of the Supreme Godhead, carries the message throughout the world. Therefore, on the absolute platform, there is no difference between the spiritual master and the Supreme Personality of Godhead. If someone considers the Supreme Personality Krishna or Lord Ramachandra to be an ordinary human being, this does not mean that the Lord becomes an ordinary human being. Similarly, if the family member of the spiritual master, who is a bona fide representative of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, consider the spiritual master an ordinary human being, this does not mean that he becomes an ordinary human being. The spiritual master is good as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and therefore one who is very serious about spiritual advancement must regard their spiritual master in this way. Even a slight deviation from this understanding can create disaster in the disciples' Vedic studies and austerities. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. So spiritual life isn't meant to be a part-time thing, right? We're coming to a realization that spiritual life is the only thing. And in this process, to become able to understand that spiritual life is our only interest, then we must come in contact with the Guru who's giving us Krishna. Yasya prasadad bhagavat prasado, as Srila Prabhupada said in the previous purport. That the Krishna is giving us the spiritual master is giving us Krishna, Krishna gives us the spiritual master. And so a big impediment to completely involving ourselves in spiritual life is twofold, as explained in these purports. One is that we take the spiritual master to be like an ordinary human being. And the second is we take Krishna to be an ordinary human being. And third, we could say, is that we take spiritual life as an ordinary activity. The things that we're doing, the contact we're coming with our sadhana is just a ritual that has, that just, anyways, becomes a ritual. So when we become interested in spiritual life, we're encouraged to become initiated, right? And so in the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, we take Harinam Diksha, meaning that we're initiated by the Diksha Guru into the line of disciplic succession with the Maha Mantra, right? And at this time, we should be thoroughly convinced that our interest is, our top priority is spiritual life. However, at this time, we still are at a point where we're conditioned. We understand that the spiritual master is very special, but normally at Harinam Diksha, we still do not have the complete faith of the spiritual master because we see Krishna just like as a very special figure also. This is very nice, this is good, I should try it, but we're not completely convinced. So we take Harinam Diksha and into a point where we are serving under the spiritual masters so that we can come to a platform of understanding who Krishna is. Also in the same time, or simultaneously, we're understanding that the spiritual master is no ordinary human being. It said in the purport, Srila Prabhupada saying that it's very easy to become content towards the spiritual master. By the way, I'd like to, before I go here, is say that when we talk about spiritual master, we're not talking about just Diksha Guru. We're talking about Siksha Guru too, right? Our prominent Siksha Guru is Srila Prabhupada. And so often we see Srila Prabhupada as a great person, somebody who definitely deserves worship or our attention, but we don't quite understand that he's no different than Krishna. But this is a purifying process. It's part of the process. Similarly, Srila Rupa Goswami says in the Nectar of Instruction, when living in the Holy Dham, we should take instruction under the devotees in the Holy Dham. And this is spiritual master too. This is Shiksha Guru. We should have who's our local authority? Who's the person who is helping us to understand the holy Dham and Krishna appropriately, right? Srila Prabhupada has created a system where the temple president is known as that local authority, and that we understand when the temple president is giving us instruction, that's coming directly from the deity, right? And that is also our fault when we see that the temple president is just some ordinary human being, right? No, Krishna has placed them in this position because Krishna has decided that this is who he wants there. And therefore, in the same instant, Krishna has the person of authority, temple president, or the Shiksha Guru, or the Diksha Guru. He has the best interest of them. And so I've heard it said that, even if we don't understand the order, Krishna will make it right. Krishna will make sure that it becomes true, And this is how it works. Is that we're meant to come to a realization that these authorities, gurus, are no different than the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and therefore they are taking us in a direction of progress towards Krishna. So when we're dipping our toe in the water and testing it out, we can become very frustrated because we're getting a sense of spiritual life or a sense of the spiritual master, but then we take our toe out and we start to think ourselves the supreme person, and we start taking our instruction, right? And usually it's not even our instruction, it's the mind's instruction or the false ego instruction, right? It's not even who we are, the spirit soul. Can't get that. Can't get there even. And so what I was thinking also is that Arjuna is in the situation in the Bhagavad Gita where he's speaking to Krishna as a friend, right? He's having a conversation at the beginning of the Bhagavad Gita. Hey, Krishna, I think I should do like this. We shouldn't fight like this because of these reasons. Krishna returns Arjuna with a friendly conversation saying, what's going on with you? This isn't like you. You're a warrior. What's going on? And Arjuna comes back and says what he says, and then Arjuna finally gets to a point where he says, no more. He says, I'm bewildered. I'm lost all composure due to miserly weakness. I'm asking you to tell me for certain what is best for me. I'm your disciple, a soul surrendered to you. Please tell me what to do. And right at that moment, Krishna steps into the role of guru. Srila Prabhupada says in the purport there that talks between the spiritual master and the disciple are serious, right? They're not meant to be friendly talk. So, when we see the guru, our Shiksha gurus and our gurus, they are quite friendly, and so they're speaking in this way, and we can see that other people are treating them in these ordinary ways. But we shouldn't get confused. We shouldn't get confused that this means that they are an ordinary person. We should come to the platform where we're completely convinced that this person is no ordinary person. This person has the ability to speak Krishna into our life completely, and we follow them with complete devotion. And it's a process, right? But we have a process that leads us to that because we're conditioned. We're in a conditioning where we've had so many people who we've taken as our authority that hurts us because we're in the material world. And so sometimes it can become difficult for us to surrender completely to somebody. But through the process of surrendering a certain degree, we start to understand and see that the spiritual master is no ordinary person. So our faith deepens. And the deepening of the faith of the spiritual master automatically is equal to the faith that we start to have in Krishna, right? And vice versa. So when we take Harinam initiation, we say chant 16 rounds, follow 4 regular principles. And if you do that, then you're putting yourself in the position to take the steps to entangle your life from that material conception, the material karma, our situation, and we start to free ourselves so that our activities are only spiritual. As I said in the first beginning, is spiritual life is meant to be 100%. It's not that I have a spiritual life and a material life, but that's also equal to the way that we are surrendered to the spiritual master. If we're surrendered to the spiritual master, every moment we're surrendered to them, and we understand that anything that we're doing is for them. Matter of fact, that they're giving us the ability to do it. And so our job is to do everything in their service. And I'll end with one story. There's a temple in Vrindavan next to Krusam Sarovar called Radha Bunny Bihari Temple. Very sweet temple. Oh my gosh. It's where Krishna braids Radharani's hair. Radha Bunny Bihari. And there's a devotee there that runs the temple. I apologize, I'm forgetting the names, the name of her and the person that she serves in the story. But she was serving this devotee who was very special for so many years, and the person had a situation where they were in hospice, right? They were terminally ill. And so she was serving this Mataji, devotee, and she was subject to just being in one room upstairs. And she started having these really amazing symptoms. One of them was that she would start explaining what the deities downstairs were wearing. And she would explain it perfectly. Oh, the deities look so nice today. They're wearing this. And it became a game with the kids. Kids would come up, Mataji, what are the deities wearing today? Oh, they're wearing this. So the kids really enjoyed it. And then there was at times she would go into this trance where she would start speaking about her Sarup, her position in the spiritual world. And they'd ask her about it. What are you doing? And she says, I'm helping Mother Yashoda make Krishna's lunchbox. And she would explain details. And it got to a point where, from what I understand, what I heard from the story, was that the GBC got wind and wanted to check this out. I kind of like have this picture of it like the Catholic Church, like a bunch of popes come around and okay, let's make sure, because when there's a miracle, they come and investigate, you know what I mean? So I was kind of thinking, and so the GBC comes and they start talking to her. I said, oh, okay, so you make Krishna's lunchbox? No. I assist Mother Yashoda in making Krishna's lunchbox. Oh, that's nice. Okay, so when you make Krishna's lunchbox, what do you make? No. When I assist Mother Yashoda to make Krishna's lunchbox, she makes this, and this. And so they ask the same question in so many different ways. What is your service? And every time she says, I assist Mother Yashoda in this way. I assist. And so after a while, they put the stamp of approval. This person is really having this situation where this is a legitimate miracle, you could say. And the basis, the foundation of the proof is there was complete sincerity and complete understanding that she was the assistant of Mother Yashoda. She never spoke about her service to Krishna. I serve Mother Yashoda. I serve Mother Yashoda. So the reason why I explain this story is that we should also have an internal mood and external when we talk, but especially internal, because sometimes we don't get to speak it externally, that we have a service for our spiritual master, and we're just assisting them. Anything we're doing is our service to them. They're doing it. Mother Yashoda is doing it. Nanda Maharaj is doing it. And I'm simply just a servant. I get to be the servant of them. And so we are fortunate because we get to be the servant of the servant. And so Krishna says that person even gets more nectar, right? It's passed down, more nectar. So we're serving our spiritual master. There's nothing that we're doing by ourselves. So we need to take this consciousness that we are never in material life because we have a spiritual master who's connected to Krishna, is pure because either A, they are completely purified themselves, or they are completely surrendered to the person who's surrendered to Krishna completely. Therefore, we are very confident that we do not have a material life because they have encouraged us. They have brought us into the realm of service. So, when we say that we have a material life or we're in this material consciousness, it happens. We become conditioned. I'm not saying that. But we shouldn't do a misduty to the fact that we came in contact with a spiritual master in Krishna and they have purified us to a point that we do not have a material life. They have purified us enough that whatever activity we do can be an offering to Krishna, and we just need to be conscious of it. We just need to be in the consciousness that I'm the assistant of Mother Yashoda. I'm the assistant of my guru, and therefore this service is an action in there, and not that this is my job. This is my kids. This is my cooking. This is my dressing the deities. Whatever it is, it doesn't matter. It's not yours. It's your service to your spiritual master that you're simply assisting in. And it becomes purified. And if we're in a situation that Krishna doesn't want, when we prove to him that we're willing to do whatever it is that he wants, we don't care if it's this, this, and this, we will simply do it because who else will do it than Krishna? May make adjustments for us. At least adjust our heart. Hare Krishna, that's 8:16. We talked about spiritual life being not a part-time thing, that we come in contact with the spiritual master who is initiating us into a movement, to this movement of purification, getting us in contact with Krishna, that everything we do is by their mercy, and we should see everything that we do as just us assisting them. And when we can have that consciousness, then we become very purified. Hare Krishna. Questions, comments, thoughts?
Hare Krishna, thank you for a nice class.
Hare Krishna.
I have a question. At what point does a devotee become a spiritual master? Is that deemed by his spiritual master, or is there a process that happens, or what?
Yeah, it's said that, like, for instance, when we take a formal understanding of taking disciples in the Shiksha process, that unless in circumstances that are given by the spiritual master, we don't even take disciples unless while they're on the earth here, right? We send the people to him. But in some cases, as it just happened like a couple months ago, there are some people in the International Society of Krishna, some devotees, that are taking disciples and their spiritual masters still on the earth. Jayapataka Maharaj has a few disciples that are doing that. Anyways, there's a couple other spiritual masters. But the point is that the guru gives us this instruction. The thing is, though, is that there's different ways of guru. There's Diksha guru, there's Shiksha guru, there's mentorship, there's bringing somebody to the path, right? And so Lord Chaitanya is already asking us to become guru, right? And our guru's message is no different. So the point being is that the guru's teaching you to become guru. Their interest is you becoming a disciple. They can take care of disciples. So their interest is more not in you so much as it's your disciple's disciple, your disciple and your disciple's disciple. They want them to become Krishna conscious. They're training you in that way. So, yes, the spiritual master gives us some insight on how at whatever moment we are, how to share Krishna consciousness, how to give Krishna consciousness to other. And that builds, and it builds and builds and builds. Until one day we see that, like, it's very clear that they're giving us this instruction to formally take on disciples. Is that okay?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you for a very instructive class again to re-emphasize how when we do service, we have the meditation, or we need to bring to our attention the meditation that our spiritual masters are doing the service and we are simply assisting them. And the other point also, how we take shelter of other devotees in Shiksha capacity, also to then see, oftentimes we have devotees that are in a very friendly relationship with us, but we actually do seek their advice, and to give them that respect, and to be mindful that when we are revealing our mind in confidence and when they are giving us advice, that they are acting in that capacity and not to overlook that aspect.
Wow. Such a great point, right? That we're being like Arjuna and Krishna, right? They're being friendly. And they're sitting on, even Arjuna gets to the point where he says, I was sitting on your bed with you. And you were, this whole time you were the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So similarly, yes, that's such a good point that we should, we can be friendly with each other, but we should understand the Shiksha that there is moments where spiritual talks become important. So when we're revealing our minds, asking questions with confidence, we should take on an attitude. We should switch our attitude, right? From a friendly attitude to this is serious and I'm seeing this. I'm asking you right now because I see your words coming from Krishna, Not that there are other words aren't. It's just that, what a good point. The last few days I've had these realizations of Arjuna and Krishna in this situation, you know what I mean? That's another building of it. Wow.
Thank you.
And sometimes even disciples have these friendly relationships with their guru, right? Like they're doing projects together and like stuff, I remember Gauranga Prabhu, he was explaining that when he was building the eco-village, he stopped doing Srimad Bhagavatam class because he needed to step into a role where people were taking him serious in the sense of we are all in this together to build this. And if he was sitting on the Vyasasan, people would give him a different mood in the sense of like on reverence. Nobody would speak up and say, we need to do this, we need to do that, like this. Wow. Thank you so much. Anything to expand on that? No? Yeah. Any other comments, thoughts? And I just want to add on that to some degree we should have a conversation with the people to understand what our relationship is. If we see somebody as a Shiksha Guru, there should be some conversation. There should be conversation that, hey, I'd like you to understand that I take your instructions like this. Is it okay? You know what I mean? So because we want to be clear, and that's the interesting thing about Krishna and Arjuna, is Arjuna communicates clearly to Krishna. Now I'm taking you as my spiritual master. Now I am a soul surrendered to you. So We should have that conversation. We should communicate in a way that we understand, who am I, who are you, and who are we, you know? And of course the relationship grows organically, but that doesn't mean, organic doesn't mean we don't talk about it, we don't communicate about it. It's such an important part of Shiksha Guru, especially in our holy Dham. It's really something that I think we should emphasize more, is that this mentorship. I mean, you see thriving temples like Chowpatty, they have a very clear understanding that at first it's mentorship, right? They call it mentorship or guidance at first. But when the developed relation comes, it becomes to a point of Shiksha Guru, right? If that's what the relationship grows in. But the mentor is always in the interest of the person. So even they're trying to connect with, who is your Shiksha Guru? Let's connect you with it. So I'm very excited about our temple in the sense of Nrsimha Rupa, being empowered to organize this in a way that, from what I understand, will move in that direction. These things will become clear. The position of a devotee care person. Okay, what is our structure? How do we make sure that everybody is taken care of? Yeah. Very exciting. 8:25. Any questions, comments, thoughts? Vaishnav, what do you think? Are you ready to become Shiksha Guru for the 5-year-olds? You ready to instruct them? And it's matter of fact, that's how schools often run in Vedic times, is you were taught to be a mentor right from the very beginning. So the older kids taught the younger kids. It was very purposeful. It wasn't just like, hey, let's have them help the younger kids. Let's let them, encourage them to help the younger kids. It was very intentional that you brought up in a way that you're a mentor. You're helping people. You get something, give it to them. You get something, you give it to them. And therefore your capacity grows. Whenever you give something to somebody else that you have, you grow in a way that you can get more. It's an unbelievable thing. Hare Krishna.
I just wanted to say that Vaishnav is Shiksha Guru for the adults that do cut-ups on Sundays. He quizzes us on Shastra all the time.
My gosh. When are you going to take disciples? 2 years? Year or two? Yeah, we should move towards that understanding that we're teaching so that the people that we're teaching can take care of the person that they're teaching, right? So are we teaching a way that our children, are we training them in a way that they're going to instruct their children to be to be Krishna conscious? If we think like that, my interest isn't you, it's your child. And automatically, if that's thought, then your child gets taken care of too. And it actually creates a nice level of healthy detachment. Not the detachment that I don't take care of things, and the detachment that this isn't my child. This is Krishna's child, and I need to train them so that they can relieve their child from the material entanglement, right? And if we can get really into a higher level, it's not even our children's children, it's our children's children's children. Am I teaching in a way that that person becomes Krishna conscious? And when we have that opportunity as a Grihastha, we move out of Grihastha ashram, we think about that as our disciples, are the people that we're mentoring, our mentees. Am I teaching my mentee, or am I teaching my disciple? I'm using, obviously, the word disciple a little bit broad, right? Vague, I'm using it liberal. Am I teaching my disciple really thinking about their disciple? Because then what happens when we do that, when we have that mindset, or that understanding, is we really can correct people out of love. We're not afraid to hurt their feelings or nothing like that. Like, if I don't teach you like this, then what's going to happen to your child? What's going to happen to your disciple? If I don't correct you and move you into the right direction, then your disciple is going to see this, and your child's going to see this, you know? So it can be really healthy, actually, because we start to get a little bit of a detachment in the sense of, this is mine, my disciple, this is my child. Oh, my interest is your child. How do I make sure that they become Krishna conscious? Oh, it's pretty interesting concept, very interesting concept. Really, really powerful understanding. And so in the Gurukuls, you know, that was the idea, is I'm teaching you so that you teach that person. You know? So there, your character, oh, you're not showing good character. Not because I don't love you, I'm going to tell you not to do wrong. No, because I care about you. I certainly do. But I care about you so much that I want to make sure that you're getting the nectar of Krishna consciousness by sharing properly the things that we need to share with them. Right? Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, the person who's most dear to me is the person who shares me with others. Right? So we want that nectar for our children, our disciples. So we have to teach them to share it with others. Not that, oh, I taste so much nectar that my whatever has become Krishna conscious. No, like the nectar is that they are giving it to others. It multiplies. Hare Krishna, 8:30. Dear devotees, thank you so much. Hare Krishna, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Vanchakalpatarubhyascha, Kripa Sindhubhyev cha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Antikoti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai.